Hello and welcome to episode number 5 or part 5 of the Shadowsun Kitbash tutorial. I will try to keep this one rather short, focusing on how I built up the details on the backpack, the rear armor, and that top armor over here, and I will show you a little trick how I usually attach arms in poses that are not quite as the model usually intended. What we will need for this step, or what I used for this step, is in particular one half of a Knight Titan, forgot the name of the shield and spear knights from Adeptus Titanicus, Castellan Robot, Shin, Knee and Vent. This one is a stabilizer from the heavy flying marines with auto cannons from the Shadow Spear box, and this tiny little part here is from the Necromunda M-Bot. As usual, feel free to use different parts as long as it suits your style or aesthetic or taste. So, let's start. If I need some kind of spacers or want to adjust the angle of arms, legs or whatever parts, I usually cut a piece from a sprue in the size I want and in the angle I want, and just attach it with plastic glue to the position where I need it. I've also done so over here. Then I can adjust with sanding, filing or cutting the exact angle in which I want that part. If I can implement this in this video, it should show somewhere over here in the corner how I did it. First thing I did was I cut the knee pad of the Castellan robot straight as much as is needed so the vent part fits snugly to the front. I'm trying to cut a few small steps instead of one big cut. That could be too much. I think that makes sense. Let's have a closer look. I think the only thing that we have to do now is make it a little bit slimmer on that side. And get that bend straight. Gluing the vent into place. And adjusting it pulling it into a position that matches the other side. Might be that I have cut a little too much over there. I could mask that with green stuff or just ignore it. Mistakes like that happen often. As long as the top arm part is drying, we'll just glue the suppressor stabilizer into the kneecap of the Castellan robot. In whatever alignment you would like to have on your model, and let that dry. Quick check over here, we went pretty much straight, so we'll try to do it here as similar as possible. Looks good. Give it a few minutes. In cases where you've made a mistake where parts don't fit as good as you wanted them, and where those parts will be covered by additional layers of armor, something like that, it's always a good idea to put some extra glue on top of a seam to kind of weld it together. So next will be the M-bot armor that will go over here, but on the other side, of course. But for that I take stock roughly how I did it over here, off camera again, sorry for that. Made a few mistakes the last time, so now I'm trying to get it to fit a little bit tighter. Looks good so far, it just needs a little round curve over here. So it will go on top of that. Looks good so far. If you look closely, you might notice that over here is one of these little spacer I showed you before in this video, and possibly in some of the videos before too. So we need to fix that and leave it to dry so we can adjust the spacer and get that engine part in place over here. As long as the part of the engine dries, we'll get this part over here done. It's half of a Knight Titan chest armor. Still can't remember the name of it. What we have to do is get rid of all the inlay so that the piece is equally thick all over. Might see it better this way, not sure. So scraping away until it's almost the same thickness on every side, and as I want it to fit snugly with that little corner here on top of the round stabilizer, and want it to be a quite tight fit, I have to make it thinner and adjust the angle of that side over here. So it goes smooth and flat. Like this. Always putting glue to both sides of the main areas where the parts connect, and I'm always trying to get at least 3 points of connection so it won't fall off. You also may notice that I put a bit of extra glue on top of the side panel. I will be able to scrape or file that smooth later. So the engine part has dried enough, and we should be able to fit it perfectly into that area. Now we could either put it parallel to that one or adjust it slightly so we create a little bit of movement that will make it feel like she's actually maneuvering around. Not too much, just a little bit, so we sell the effect. So here we are. As said, I want to rather keep this one short. Showed you how I did the paneling over here, the little engine, and also how I use these little spacers. Next episode will be about her left foot and placing all the extra armor on top of the legs and the arms. Well, that's pretty much pretty simple. And then I think I will do another episode, part 7 then, that will show you the details of putting on details on her, like cables, little sensors, removing the aquila at the front and such stuff. Okay, that's it. So, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Be excellent to each other.